book that some have probably never seen before. Even longtime Jack Kirby fans have never seen, some of them have never seen Jack Kirby Masterworks. This is a treasury-sized book. It was published in 1979 by Privateer Press. Has a foreword and annotations by Mark Evanier. And I'll tell you what's really cool about this book. One of the things is the almost drawing table-sized pages that come out of that you find in this book. Some with just pencils, some with full inks. But you know, this is the way that Jack Kirby's work should be presented, if it can. So you have some really nice pages in here. This is one of those books that you don't come across very often. You won't even see it at most cons, in my experience. But if you do find it, certainly you'd want to get it if you can at all afford it. I wouldn't go out on the limb to try to say what's a proper price, and I wouldn't say what I paid for it, but be careful. But because some do find it, it is considered rare, I think, to me. But you got some strips in here, unused strips from Surf Hunter, Chip Hardy, Johnny Reb, and some are fully inked, some are just pencils. Some really neat, look at some of Jack's just layouts for some of these strips. This is a good example, double-page spread layout of Jack's layouts for a strip. Johnny Reb. Again, just the boldness and the largeness of Jack's pencils were they deserve this kind of a format. So the funny thing about Jack Kirby, some of his stuff, especially in the 60s and carrying on into the 70s, if it was anyone else, some of his pencils would look silly. I mean, big to almost to a fault. But if it was Jack, it didn't look silly. If it was his work, it looked great. And as well, to those who are fans of Jack's. And here's a thing. Here you got some early Thor page unused here, and you've got some other pages like that. I was not always a Jack Kirby fan. It has only been in the last 5 or 6 years that I have begun to really appreciate his work, and I've been reading comics and enjoying comics for over 35 years. I'm not sure why it took me so long to catch up, but his work is worth studying and looking at. Here's looks like some type of not a commission, but done for a fan. It says, "Look out, Len! I'm going to do a half gainer and a triple somersault right into your veal parmesan." Silver Surfer says. Len Kaminsky, maybe? I don't know. More double-page spreads, fully inked. Some really neat unused Jimmy Olsen covers. And an unpublished cover from a proposed New Gods tabloid comic. And right here on this Jimmy Olsen cover, unused cover, I guess I used to have this one. I really believe the unused cover looked a little, or the actually used cover looked a little bit different, but that was, of course, where Don Rickles' face went, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be. But anyway, oh, and also two pages of an unused, unpublished story for a proposed Black Romance comic. And of course, for those who know comics history and know the history of Kirby and Joe Simon, of course, Jack Kirby and Joe Simon pretty much created the romance comics genre. And so they began it anyway. So anyway, you've got just a really neat Jack Kirby book here. It was published in 1979. I'd never heard about it until I came across it, which was just not very long ago at all. And just thought I'd share it with folks that watch Full Color Commentary. There's Jack's rendition of a jungle man, not quite Kazar, not quite Tarzan, but a little of both, wouldn't you say? And so, The Visitor on Highway 6, unpublished, Jack's rendition of a spaceship. That has been colored and used in some publication, inked and colored, and used in some publication, probably from Tomorrow's. But I'm not sure about that. Anyway, just thought I'd share this book that I found on Jack Kirby, and certainly recommended for Kirby fans or history fans. Thanks for watching Full Color Commentary.